Here's why you're struggling with breath support, and it's deeper than you think. Now, let's fix your breathing once and for all. Let's begin with what the diaphragm actually is. And if you've seen my Sing Better Instantly video, you've heard this before. The diaphragm is a dome-shaped muscle that separates your chest cavity from your abdomen, and it's a part of your entire breathing mechanism. And the reason I say it's a part of your entire breathing mechanism will be made clear in just a moment. The reason voice teachers often will tell you to breathe from your diaphragm is that most of us naturally breathe very shallow. So if you don't think about it and just take a deep breath in, you'll likely notice that your chest will get bigger, your shoulders may even lift. We actually want to take a deeper breath to be able to activate the vocal folds and be able to sing healthily. But in order to do that, we have to think about deeper. And what's deeper than your chest? Your diaphragm. The reason I say breathe from below your belly button is because that way you incorporate all the elements of your breathing mechanism. The entire breathing mechanism involves your abdominal wall, your diaphragm, also your rib cage, your back. All of these elements come into helping you breathe. And if we want to utilize every part of your breathing mechanism, when you think about taking a deep breath from below your belly button, it immediately incorporates every one of these things. Often we try not to bring up the abdominal wall when we're talking about breathing for singing because I think we're afraid of tension. We don't want you doing crunches to try to get your sound out. Although we do need that low belly breath, in order to get that breath, we actually have to have flexible abs. Your abdominal wall needs to be able to flex and be malleable so that you can take a proper deep breath. From my experience as a personal trainer, one thing that I learned was that the stronger muscles are often the most flexible. So if you want to be strong, you also need to be flexible. If you want your abdominal wall to be strong and be able to take a deep, deep breath, it needs to be flexible. So what does a flexible abdominal wall mean? Well, come along with me here. I have to show off my belly. So a flexible abdominal wall will allow you to do a deep inhale like so. As I inhale, you'll see that belly stick out, which is not the most aesthetically pleasing thing, but this is the breath. In my studio, we do not say breath support. I say breath energy, and I teach my students to say breath energy as well. And the reason I say breath energy instead of breath support is because often we incorporate tension when we think of support. It automatically leads us to hear tension, because when you think of supporting something, you think of supporting something. Even that move requires tension. And we don't want that feeling when we're energizing the breath to sing. We want to think energize, spinning air, energized air that sends all the energy into your vocal folds and allows your vocal folds to vibrate evenly and consistently and easily to create sound. So you may say it's a little bit of semantics, but I also think it's super important to understand what words mean to people, how your physical body responds to certain words. So if you hear breath support, you might add tension, even if you don't mean to. But if you think breath energy, it's a lot harder to incorporate tension. And breath energy often feels like spinning air. It feels like lifting. It feels like energy versus pushing, like support often does. Now, if you saw my video on high notes, you may remember that high notes require strong breath energy to be able to come out easily and consistently, because the higher you go in pitch, the faster the vocal folds need to move, so the more air they need, not more air pushing through, because pushing air is going to create tension, which will get in the way of those high notes. So remember, we want to energize the air, not push it. One of my favorite breathing exercises is the hissing exercise. You're going to take a deep breath and then hiss on the exhale. This way you get to practice what it is to take that wonderful deep belly breath. Come along with me. So I'm going to do a quick exercise just so you see, and then feel free to do this on your own. Take as much time as you want. It is safe to do these kinds of exercises because it's just breathing. We have to be more mindful when we're using our voice, but with breathing, you can do it all day long. The first thing I will tell you to do is get in front of a mirror and make sure that you're doing exactly what you feel like you're doing. Because we're so used to the way we feel things, we may not even notice what we're actually doing. So you might feel like you're taking a really deep breath and your shoulders are rested and your chest is not lifting, and then you check in the mirror and it's all those things and more. So you want to make sure that you go in front of a mirror and make sure that you can see yourself and make sure that your shoulders stay down, Your chest not sticking out. We're not militaristic. Shoulders stay down, just good posture. For the breathing exercise, we're gonna inhale through our nose and exhale through a hiss. So we're gonna inhale, exhale, now you see, I didn't immediately collapse when I started to exhale. It still stays lifted. Everything still stays where they started. The only thing that happens is my stomach goes in. And you may have noticed my stomach didn't go instantly in. So we want to make sure that we're not, again, collapsing immediately as soon as we begin to exhale. And this is what will happen when you're singing. You'll take a really deep breath, but then for some reason you run out of air before you're finished with the phrase. And you think, I took a really good breath. But you release the air so quickly that you lost it all in the first letter of the phrase. So for this exercise, we want to make sure we're taking that wonderful deep breath in through the nose. And then we're going to exhale on that hiss. One more time. Deep breath in through the nose. And exhale on a hiss. Till you finish. And I'm hoping this is not distorting my microphone. So that's breathing for singing. Quite simply put, it's just inhaling from below your belly button and then exhaling sound. And I always tell my students, think of singing as exhaling on pitch. It should be just that simple, just that easy to produce sound through your vocal folds using breath energy. If you'd like a little more one-on-one work, feel free to reach out to me for voice lessons, as well as my voice blueprint session, which is a one-on-one 90-minute vocal assessment where we look into your voice, figure out why it's doing what it's doing, figure out the places that are great, and figure out where your issues are, and we address all of them, as well as giving you a plan of action moving forward so that you know what your next steps are to continue to develop your voice. Also, I have one more question for you. What is the #1 breathing challenge you find in singing? Please comment below. I would love to hear what you have to say, and I will answer as many as I can. If you have been seeing any of my comments, you know I will answer a question and I will give you quite an in-depth answer, so feel free to leave your comments below. This is my Reddit Sings Back series, episode 3. Please remember to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. We have plenty more singer questions to get to. Thank you so much for swinging by, and I usually say happy singing, but happy breathing! Yeah, my microphone. Hopefully it's not getting in the way. Okay, somewhere in there it's probably a decent shot. Okay. That's the end of that. I'm gonna stop this first.